Well, good morning, everybody. How you doing here? Just across Commonwealth. We're on Fullerton here. Yeah, October the 1st, 2025. And we're celebrating a Cubs win over the Padres there yesterday, 3-1. We went up there before the game, but I was able to watch it. It was on ABC 7 there. I put it on the background when I was working there. It's nice to watch it on TV instead of just having to listen to it on the radio there. Hey, Krista, how you doing there? Jessica, thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, we got Wednesday, October the 1st. So we'll head down. They're doing the farmer's market. It's not going to be, you know, lasting too much longer as we head in the fall here, but I think they keep it going through October. They got the Fall Fest going on at the zoo. I'm sure we'll run into that sometime this month. But hey, October, yeah, the sun's rising later in the morning here, so we'll use the YouTube app here. Chris, how you doing there? Jessica, tea time, yeah, good, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Danny. Well, thanks for staying. Good morning there. Yeah, we got to keep these pleasantries going on. We feel like we're part of a society here. I know it's getting hard, and so I guess the government shutdown. It started. Isn't it amazing how we go through this choreography so often now? You know, it really affects real people. You know, people are going to not be getting paid. And they work for the certain federal agencies. It depends on, you know, some people get paid, some people don't. I don't think TSA gets paid. I think federal workers at prisons, things like that. I'm wondering if ICE is going to get paid. that's going to be interesting. I know they're trying to recruit all these people to work for ICE. It's very controversial in this city. You know, we saw what happened to Ernie there, and it's starting to happen to other. I saw news on the news last night. There was a raid in the South Shore area there, south side of Chicago, and they rounded up U.S. citizens along with the Venezuelans that they were trying to get and put them in zip ties, and they had to sit there for 2 hours. U.S. citizens, Americans, Southsiders of Chicago had to sit there while they had to prove that they were an American to other Americans that wouldn't show their face. You know, so maybe those ICE agents are not going to get paid during the shutdown. It's going to be interesting. See how how mercilessly they pursue their work. They'll do it for free. But hey, we got to talk about this stuff because I know people are like, don't talk about politics, especially so early in the morning. You know, for us not to talk about this stuff, like the big military meeting, force all our military leaders sit there and listen to a politician speak to them, the politician that resisted being drafted, and we understand why he resisted being drafted. The Vietnam War was horrible. Bill Clinton did it too. My father fought in that war. He was drafted. He wasn't a fortunate son. That song was about. There were people like Donald Trump that got out of doing service, and there was people like my dad that he's still bitter about it, 4 years of his life. And it's pretty rich for those two guys to lecture military brass on how they should do their jobs. He sits there and lies to us. Here, it's enough about that. Here, we'll go check out the flowers, and we'll see how this all plays out here. Here's the Bell and Stratford. Welcome to Chicago here. We're heading to work here on a Wednesday. We'll go check out the farmer's market. Thanks for tuning in to YouTube. Yeah, I'll cut out some clips from, we went up to Wrigley Field there yesterday before the game there. There was an update on Ronnie Woo Woo, and the gentleman we talk to often up there on Waveland Avenue. And he was like, you can go visit Ronnie in his nursing home there. So we'll post that information if anybody wants to do that. I said Ronnie would appreciate it there. Hey Raven, how you doing there? Monique, how you doing there? Yeah, amigos. They'll all get paid. Yeah, it'll all get paid in the end. Yeah, they see if it lasts days or weeks, if that, and they'll get paid. Just inconveniences. So a big nothing burger, a bunch to do about nothing. We had to destroy the government to save the government. Here, let's head over we're going under Stagnor. So we just joined, we're in Chicago, Lincoln Park. Free Nino band. I don't know what that is. There's so much I don't know in the world. What can you know? Here's, hey, look how that skyline looks here. Zoom in there. It's John Hancock. Yeah, so this is the formal planning garden here. I'm walking to work here, Lincoln Park. Yeah, let's walk through by the fountain here. You saw a UFO? Yeah, looks like it. Look at that cloud. That's a crazy cloud there. Unidentified flying objects. There's this underground road that goes between Salt Lake City and Washington, D.C. They use it to smuggle UFOs through it. You heard it first here. Talk to Harry Reid. Harry Reid tried to expose the UFO secrets there in the military. Hey, look at those buildings there. That's along Lincoln Park West there. Yeah, taking a walk. Let's take a walk. I'm walking to work. This is my commute to work. So we've been doing this for a while on TikTok. I've been doing it long before the age of live streaming. I've been walking to work for 26 years here, or taking a bike, or such a beautiful weather here. We got low 60s. I think we're not even going to get much into 70 degrees today. Pretty pleasant, but it's supposed to warm up for the weekend. Look at this fountain here. Look at this fountain here between the conservatory and the Lincoln Park Zoo. Flowers look so nice this time of year because they're really large. Yeah, there's people walking their dogs. That's the smokestack for the zoo. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Yeah, Chicago, how you doing there? Yeah, this is Lincoln Park in Chicago. Lincoln Park, the neighborhood's over there. This is the actual park by the zoo. And sometimes we walk by the lake. We caught the sunrise yesterday. I could have walked by the lake this morning. I'm mainly going this way. Stay in the park. We'll go by the farmer's market. But I want to show how large these flowers are at the end of the season here. Sometimes it'll be getting too dark. As it gets more dark, as I walk home in the evenings, we'll go past this tree. They put all the fall Halloween lights on it. We saw them setting that up. There's the Schiller statue. Yeah, Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth here. People often ask what country. Sometimes I question it myself too. It's just the America I grew up in. I don't know. Nothing lasts. Yeah, amazing. Okay, so we posted the interview with Ernie. Ernie encountered ICE. They slammed him up on the hood of the car and demanded him show his papers. And they actually put him in cuffs for 5 minutes and let him go. He's American. I have not encountered any ICE. I saw that they were walking through downtown on Sunday. I was laying on my couch. There was a protest last night at Wacker, Michigan. If I would have went downtown right when I start my live streams, I would have walked right through it and filmed it. We saw a guy with a very flagrant first free speech message there on Michigan Avenue. I posted that. I know I'm going to offend some people just by posting that, but it was his message, not mine. And I show the world as it is, not as we want it to be. But I commend his right to say it and to be in public. I support it. You know, even though social media is not free speech, we try to sneak it in there every once in a while. And here's the Lincoln Park Zoo. Yeah, that's that tree we'll see later, all lit up once it gets dark. They turn it on. And here we're heading down towards the South Pond here at Lincoln Park. They got a farmers market, the Green City Market goes on usually Wednesdays and Saturdays in warmer months here. So, and then later this week they'll have the Daily Plaza. You want me to sing the song? How you doing there? Yeah. Well, Danny, that was my whole point. You know, I was like, you know, that's why we're. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Hey, thank you. I'm on YouTube now, so okay, it's good. You know, if I was walking where Ernie was walking there in Archer Heights, you know, they said, oh, there's a Southside Irish guy there, red-haired, freckled guy, me, and then Ernie, they were like, go get him. And you know, he's a U.S. citizen, I'm a U.S. citizen. What's the difference? What he looks like. He was profiled. We know it. And people accept this. The fact that the President of the United States can put a sombrero and a Mexican mustache on Hakeem Jeffries and tweet it out and pay no consequence is sending a message to the country that you're allowed to racially profile and troll people, including members of Congress that aren't Mexican, and you're allowed to dress them up like Mexicans and make fun of them. That's what, do you see that? The President of the United States sent that out, and it's sending a message that hazing is okay. You know, what they just brought all the military brats. They said, you're allowed to lay your hands on people. You're allowed to beat people up. That's essentially the message they sent. And believe me, the military knows exactly what they're talking about. They gave a speech to the military. They said they want to use the U.S. cities as training grounds for the military to exercise the crowd control. Are you comfortable with that? Is the military comfortable with it? I don't think they are. That's, you know, and they had to sit there and be used as cops, and it was embarrassing. That's not my words. That's words of U.S. generals. Said they were embarrassed by it, and they had to sit there and not react to it and be talked to like they were little kids, and they're 3- and 4-star generals that we should be listening to their advice, especially about military matters. But hey, you can kiss the toe of Pete Hegseth there if you like him so much. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Lincoln Park here. Thanks for listening to my little editorial conjecture, opinion. You don't have to agree with my opinion. I don't expect you to agree with my opinion. I can't act like just a normal day in paradise here. Just another day, another shutdown. No one cares. Life goes on. It's all political posturing anyway. But hey, let's go check out the farmers market. I'll get you this view over the South Pond, and then we'll walk over by the farm and the zoo, and we'll head over to the farmers market, and then we'll head to work. We'll head down through the Gold Coast and go through Michigan Avenue. We get down towards the loop there. Lunchtime, we'll walk through the loop. But hey, we checked out the Cubs beat the Padres there yesterday. That was a good start. They only got to win one more game. It's the best of 3 games. Cubs have home field advantage. So if the Cubs beat the Padres, they'll play Milwaukee, and that's the real test, and we'll see how that goes. I think Detroit beat Cleveland, the Dodgers beat the Cincinnati Reds, and the Boston Red Sox beat the New York Yankees. Those are the other wild card races going on this week, and they all should be over before the weekend. We'll start the divisional series. Hey, Cubs won. You got it. Taco jalapeno salsa. CJ's mommy there. How you doing there? Yeah, and really Julie Reed's doing it in there. Yeah, let's go over to the farmers market here. Is the resolution okay? I'm using the YouTube app this morning, mainly for the comments. You know I'm going to be walking all the way until probably 8 o'clock. And so Streamlabs is great. It was great yesterday for the good resolution for going to the ballpark. But hey, here's a squirrel. We saw a black squirrel yesterday morning. I might have to cut that out. Other people say they see black squirrels every once in a while. It's rare for me to see one here in Lincoln Park, but I liked it. Here, let's look at that. Look at the skyline of Chicago from the South Pond. We're at the north end of South Pond. See how calm it is this morning. Beautiful October 1st there by Cafe Briar here. Let's go over. Here's a waterfall. Look at these yellow flowers. And just simple scenes of nature here. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, Ronnie. How you doing there? Yeah. This was all filled with moss and muck, and it cleared out. So, hey, Cafe Briar. Thanks for letting me rest my leg last night. My leg is still a little tight, but it feels much better than it did on Monday. Monday I was in pain. I know Anita noticed that. Appreciate that. Here's Cafe Briar. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Prince, good morning there. I missed you there. D. Michael, all the Michaels there. Yeah. Haven't been here in years. Hey, well, thanks for turning it a bit virtually here. Welcome to the patio. Yeah. Bring your pup to our dog-friendly patio. Okay. So we'll walk by the South Pond here. Yeah, this weather we get into September, beginning of October, all the way up to usually the marathon. Usually they try to time the marathon when we first get those crisp, cool mornings, because you don't want it too hot for the marathon. It affects the times. You can get that perfect 50 to 60 degree weather in the morning, or even 40 to 50. Yeah, people like that. I'm not a runner, but I just noticed that because I've been watching the marathon here for years. Yeah, we'll cover the marathon. It's not this weekend, it's next weekend. It's the 12th or something. And this weekend we'll probably check out the Fall Fest at the zoo, and there might be some other things going on. I know I've been missing all the big events happening around Chicago. Milan, Italy. Milan's a beautiful city. I would love to do some live streaming in Europe, especially Italy, Milan. I think Milan has the historic central part, the downtown is just spectacular. You got those arcades, all the fashion houses in Milan, and the history. It's a interesting city, but I haven't been there. Is that the beaver? What is that? There's something. There's a turtle. That's a turtle sticking its head out. There's two turtles right there. There, they just went under the water there. So there are turtles, squirrels. Here's the farm and the zoo. Over here we're on this nature boardwalk by the South Pond, and we're gonna head over towards Clark Street because they got a farmer's market on Wednesdays. I want to see if it's still going on this late into the season. Yeah, beautiful skyline. There it is. Hey, there's your sunrise. There's your sunrise right by the Grant statue there. Look at that silhouette there. There's Ulysses S. Grant on his horse there, and there's your sunrise for October the 1st, 2025 there. To see Lake Michigan's that way. Yeah. See, they're up. Oh, yeah, the mosquitoes are out. Their little gnats. There's your sunrise. See, we got the whole day ahead of us. Look at this nature walk here. Yeah, welcome to October. It's gorgeous. Izzy. Ethereal Moonlight. I like your name there. Yeah. Marie. Yeah, how you doing there? Thanks everybody there. Daisy. Yeah, it's beautiful. Freedom fighter. Yeah, just that silhouette there is pretty nice. Yeah, see how this lines up with the John Hancock, the whole walkway here. Yeah, the Genie Gang design group did this. With nice reflections in the water. South Pond, Lincoln Park, Chicago. See, they used to have a little train they drove past there the old days. It's just like a Model T car, but they used to pull a train. You know, we go to Herman Park in Houston, and they got a little train that goes around that park. It's a lot of parks used to have a little train component. Well, the zoo has a gesture to it still. Yeah, Naya Papaya there. Carrie's tuning in there. Yeah, that's good. Thanks for tuning in there. Thanks for catching me in the morning there. Yeah, I'm trying to get back into my generally morning, noon, and night. I missed night last night, but here, let's go over to this farmer's market. Yeah, it looks like it's still going on. They got the trucks over here. Usually it doesn't start until 7 o'clock. Let's see what time we got here. Yeah, it's 6:59, so 7 o'clock on the dot. We'll go up to the farmer's market here. And yeah, let's go up this way. Leave the hey, see, they got the Ferris wheel set up for the Fall Fest. So they'll probably keep that up all the way through the zoo lights. There, so near where Lincoln and Wells meet Clark Street, between Stockton and Clark, southern end of Lincoln Park here, they got a farmer's market Wednesdays and Saturdays called the Green City Market. We usually walk around it in the warmer months here. I usually catch it on Wednesday. I usually don't catch it on Saturday when it's a little larger. It's a little bigger on weekends, but it's a nice option. Daily Plaza has it on Thursdays. There's other farmers markets on different days throughout the city there. This is Stockton. Goes through the park. Okay, you can get free parking here. One of the rare streets in the city where you can get free parking, at least by the lake here. But there's the farmers market. Yeah, welcome. Pretty day here. So people come get fresh flowers. You get your fresh flowers for your week there. Get your honey, your smoothies, your berries. Jacobs and Family Farms here, Green City Market. Sunflowers, $5 here. It smells great. Yeah. Yeah. You get to meet and socialize there. Treat the cuisine here. Yeah. You got the River Valley Ranch kitchen here. Sidekick. You get the pickles. I got pickles. Yeah, look at all the flowers here. Skyfall flowers. Junebug. Yeah. Hey, morning. How you doing here? Ellis Family Farms here, Benton Harbor, Michigan. Look at the apples and the honey and jams. Big jar of honey. You got the breads there. Bennison's Bakery. Grass-fed beef. Phoenix bean. Yeah, look at all this stuff. Kankakee. Valley Homestead. How you doing there? Dorothy's Bakery. How you doing? Good morning. How you doing? Yeah. Kids tasting activity. There you go. You get the coffee here. Morning. How you doing there? Yeah, that's great. Very nice. Yeah, get information here. Green City Market. They got the pumpkins and the gourds here. Get your microgreens, wheatgrass. They even sharpen your knife. Yeah, look at the pumpkins. Here's the Green City Market. Go to Nichols Farm and Orchard here. Look at all this corn on the cob here. Look at all these gourds here. Radishes, celery, carrots. Look at this cornucopia. All this stuff here. Yeah, they got croissants, dreams. Wow, look at these. Kankakee Valley Homestead here. Wow, thank you. Thanks for being out here. Happy Halloween there. See, bring your dogs, get some fresh eggs. Yeah. Venison's Bakery. How you doing? Good morning. Yeah, what a beautiful day. Yeah. Yellow's Family Farms. How you doing? Very nice. Yeah, Benton Harbor. There's Junebug, raw honey, kombucha, Skyfall flowers. This is the Green City Market here, Lincoln Park. Renewal by Anderson. Yeah, get your windows there. River Valley Ranch here. Sidekick. Wow, look at this. Seaweed rice roll. Yeah. Priest de Cuisine. Yeah, this is where we came in here. We'll head over this way. It's the Green City Market. Ride your bike through here. Yeah, apples. Smith's Farm. Look at the sweet corn. $1 each. 6 for $5. You get a half a dozen for $5. Smith's Farm here. good. There's bake, not fried. Daly's Donuts here. Get the donuts. You got the dog. How you doing there? Yeah. Frozen fruit available there. McClug Farm. Yeah. Daisies. Yeah. Frock and Forage. Yeah. Here's Gail's Grilled Cheese. How you doing? Good morning. Yeah. Here's Hillside Orchards. Who's Your Mama? Yeah. The Green City Market. Just giving you an overview of what's here. Here's the blueberry shop here. Joe's Blues. Fried mushrooms. J2K. Look at the cheeses. Flour Bakery Cafe. Good morning. Yeah. Hey, look at all the wonderful breads there. That's great. So here, Green City Market. There it is. So this is in Lincoln Park in Chicago, where I'm walking to work here. On Wednesdays, we usually walk through. It's Clark Street is over there. We're north of North Avenue. It's kind of where Lincoln Avenue and Wells tee into Clark Street. This is Stockton. The South Pond's over there. This is Chicago, North Side. But we're heading to the downtown. I'm heading to work because this is my walk to work. It just happens to be that farmer's market's on the way there. So we'll head through here. Good morning. Yeah, Ernesto. Gurney. Yeah. Thanks, Ernesto, for tuning in. Thanks for answering that question there, Taco. Yeah, now you're hungry for breakfast. Yeah, it is early in the morning there. Still time for breakfast. Hey, they're doing some training class here, so physical training. Usually you go in the park there, you see people doing this organized classes. Sometimes we see people doing Pilates by the lake or yoga. It's either doing the step. They got a physical trainer there leading the class. This is in the park here. It's all organized. You got to get organized. Yeah, do your lunges there. Yeah. Yeah, Mia's tuning in there. Hi, Papaya. Tara's tuning in. Good morning. Yeah, what's shaking? See, they're doing the, they got their little blankets there. It's like calisthenics. But we'll enjoy this beautiful weather. There's a chance there's going to be a bridge lift today. No guarantee. I'll hang by the river walk near the beginning of my stream there at noon. And they're going to come from the lake towards the South Branch, the opposite direction in the fall there if they do it today. But there might not be any boats that want to get out of the water yet because the forecast looks like they'll make it till next week. Just if it's any early birds that want to get down their boat down to Florida or something, just in time for hurricane season. So far we've been lucking out with hurricane season. It's not been as bad as it could be. Yeah. Isaiah, how you doing there? 50-day chair yoga. Yeah, you can do yoga from chair. Yeah, all the different ways you can do it. Low impact. So here we'll head under the pedestrian underpass that gets us under the South Street. There's the Ben Franklin statue. We'll head down to Michigan Avenue, see what's shaking. Yeah, I think Ernie streamed the protest there yesterday, which I thank him for doing that. And we all got a reason to protest. I just realized, if I protest, I should protest. If I film it, it just attracts people. I don't know if it does anything filming it. I'm just, But if I encounter protest, I'll show it. I show the world as it is, and respect people's right to peacefully assemble and air their grievances in public. I guess it does have a purpose for that, just to show where people stand, which is good. So thanks, Ernie, for covering it there. Chicago Nuggies. And yeah, I'm sure we'll run into more. I was literally like, watching the Cubs game, and the news came on after, and Ernie told me he was going to cover it, and that's when I realized there was going to be an organized thing there. It was only like a block long. It was right in front of the Trump Tower there yesterday. But, since I didn't go downtown and people were like, are you avoiding the protest? No, it's being lazy and just working from home so I could cover the Cubs game. Cubs play again today, another 208 start. Play the Padres. So if the Cubs win today, they can advance to play Milwaukee, but we won't get ahead of ourselves there. They got a game tomorrow if necessary. And Padres are going to give it a good try here today, so we got to take it seriously. But the Reds lost to the Dodgers. The Cleveland Guardians lost to Detroit Tigers. Kevin messaged me about that. He was happy the Tigers won. And Boston Red Sox beat the Yankees. Good pitching on the Boston Red Sox there. So we got postseason baseball. Look, people wrote chalk here. They wrote all the years there, counting down. Class of, do you want to feel old? These are probably kids from the Latin school, and this is literally when they're going to graduate. 2026, 2027, all the way to 2039. Some kids are counting down to graduate in 2039. There, onward to victory. Onward to victory. They got the Bears colors there, blue and orange here. Yeah, fun ahead, yeah. There's look at all these chalk drawings here. You got stars and hearts, and there, 6-7. That's very important. Oh, look, they drew the Trojan, their mascot. This is the mascot there for the Latin school. Hey, how you doing? Just checking out the chalk drawings here. It's very nice. Yeah, happy Hoko. Homecoming? Maybe it's homecoming. H-O, homecoming. I guess that's what that stands for, Hoko. I forgot about homecoming. Michigan, they did the Michigan logo. Here's the hopscotch. See, look, they got the orange and blue there, the Bears colors there. So, hey, scenes of life in the city here. How you doing there, Will Cross? So here's the Constellation there. Schwartzman's with the architect. There's the Latin school, the middle school. We'll go down Dearborn Street here, heading to the Gold Coast there. So yeah, I do about 5 kilometers every morning, 3.5 miles. Usually do about 15 kilometers a day. Most of that's in the morning and evening, but we do walk at lunchtime there. It depends on how far we walk at lunchtime through the loop. I know it's a long way. That's why my legs all messed up. It's an inside joke, but yeah, I just try to work it in. This is my morning commute to go to, I work for an architecture and engineering firm. I work downtown. I live in Lincoln Park. I live about 3.5 miles from where I work, just over 3 miles. So I don't have a car. I can take the train, take the bus, ride a bike, swim, kayak. Usually I walk. It's the easiest low impact way. Takes a long time walking. If I don't live stream, I can do it in an hour. I can get to work walking over 3 miles in an hour. But when I live stream, it takes longer because I stop and talk about things and don't walk as fast and check out the farmers markets and things like that, which are a little out of my way. Hey, look at the mums. Wow, they always do some nice planting here. These are the buildings with the curved staircases in Dearborn. And they had the landscaping, Better Homes and Gardens here. Under contract. Wow, this is big news. Under contract there. They've been trying to sell that for a long time there. That's good. So here's Dearborn Street. Look at the petunias. Look at that curved staircase. This one's got it too. The Italianate facades here, residential. This is why the Gold Coast is called the Gold Coast here. Look at that. Better Homes and Gardens. There's the Houghton there. Sometimes we see our friend Fred here. There it is, the Houghton. But hey, look at the beautiful buildings here on Dearborn Street here, Gold Coast, Chicago. That's why I'm blessed I get to walk through this on my way to work here. It's nice. Hey, they're starting to put up Halloween decorations. This is what we want to see here. Here we got the giraffe's always out here, but they can just keep it out for Halloween there. But hey, there's a skeleton. Skeleton coming out of the balcony there. Yeah, so we're starting to see some Halloween decorations go up there. There's some stuff in the window. But here, Burton and Dearborn, I bet you after next weekend we'll see a lot more Halloween decorations going up here. They decorated last year. They got that Richardsonian Romanesque here with the tour. It just looks like a castle. Perfect for Halloween decorations, all these buildings. Welcome's all school teacher. How you doing there? Hello, brother there. USA 2.0. How many versions of the United States do we need? Hello. Seems a little blurry. It's because I'm using the YouTube app. YouTube app, sometimes the resolution gets worse and gets better. The reason I'm using the YouTube app where I'm just walking to work, and I'd rather read people's comments. If yesterday I used Streamlabs, which made the resolution much better, and I think you can. There's a way for you to up the resolution on your end. There's a widget there or a menu where you can up the resolution, and sometimes it's limited by my bandwidth, sometimes it's limited by your bandwidth. So it's a complex two-end thing where it's not just some people are seeing better resolution than you might be seeing. It's just what it is. But hey, thanks. Carlos, how you doing there? Let me know if it gets so bad. I can restart the live if the resolution gets bad. Mods, let me know if the resolution gets bad, because sometimes it does on the YouTube app. I noticed that on Ernie's and other people when they were trying to use it there. Taco, how's the resolution? Is it bad, or is it adequate enough? Let me know if you want. Hey, Autumn at St. Christophe's or St. Christodom's. That little free library there. Yeah, there's a nice church here on Dearborn Street. They got some chalk drawings as well. Yeah, touch the three dots in the right corner to adjust the quality there. Thanks, Julie Reed. Did it help out? Does it get better if you up the resolution there? People need to we'll figure out how to do it there. It's somewhat blurry. Yeah, it's because the app, sometimes it knocks down the resolution. I can switch to Streamlabs if we want to. Maybe at lunch. Yeah, at lunch I'll do Streamlabs because we'll get the bridge lift, and then I'll make sure the resolution. If I only do Streamlabs for an hour, the comments seem to work for like an hour before then. It's only after an hour where the comments get goofy on Streamlabs. So we'll do Streamlabs at lunch. And thanks for dealing with the poor resolution. Hopefully it'll improve. We got some nice Halloween decorations here. This is yeah. Look at that on the gas light here. This is the corner of Schiller and Dearborn Street. They always do such a good job with the Halloween decorations there. Shocks the corn there. See Dearborn and Schiller. And we'll head across here. I'm waiting for the traffic to move out of here. There we go. Hey, there's some Halloween decorations over there. So yeah, you will have to zigzag across the street, bounce around. Is it cool? It's blurry. It's blurry. Okay. Yeah, we made it to the Gold Coast here, so we're on Dearborn Street, walking to work. I know it's a little blurry here. Hopefully we'll walk out of it. Here's some Halloween decorations here. Yeah, look, they got the butler. Got the skeletons here. Got the little skeletons. Look at this. It's a skull on a stick. Yeah, we're finally seeing some Halloween decorations. Good. So it is October 1st. So hey, we finally made it here. I'm hoping the resolution will improve as we head towards Michigan Avenue. I think the trees have something to do with limiting my bandwidth here, or it's just the YouTube app torturing me. TikTok is much better resolution, and it was good for that. They would knock it down without you load those. It was better than it used to be. When I first started trying to live stream on TikTok, I would always get frustrated with the connection, but it got better. YouTube's much better than it used to be, but it's still not as good as I would like it to be. And there's the nice block of buildings here on Dearborn Street. There's the house with the keyhole windows here. That car's having a hard time getting in that garage. Oh, let's cross the street here. The car's pulling out here. But here's the keyhole windows here. This is a 3-flat residential building with a garden apartment here. It goes back to the 1890s. The keyhole windows, Moorish revival style. And all these buildings are nice here on Dearborn Street. We're just north of Goethe. We already spotted some Halloween decorations. Yeah, TikTok used to be clear. So I'm wondering if I stop and start this, if the resolution will clear up. How many people we got tuning in here? I can't even read it there. 98 people. So is the resolution bad enough you want me to stop and restart it with Streamlabs? I could do that. And so this is the Gold Coast of Chicago. We're on Dearborn Street, just north of Goethe. And there's the RH Furniture. You can type in RH Furniture on Dearborn Street, Chicago. What's the address there? 1300 North Dearborn Street. You can see right where I'm at here. But we're heading to work here on a Wednesday. We went by the farmer's market. Here's Mario's Table Casual Time. 2 for Tuesdays. It's not that bad. A little blurry. Thanks, Naya. Yeah, we'll just keep going with it. So here's my dilemma. Naya, you realize what's going on is the comments work better on the YouTube app. Streamlabs, the resolution's better for YouTube, but after about an hour, that's what happened yesterday, the comments get backed up and I can't read the comments. And my dilemma is usually my walks in the morning go about an hour and a half. So the first hour I can read comments, and then right when I get downtown, when people want to comment, when I'm by the vintage skyscrapers, I can't read the comments. And that's why I'm hoping that the resolution will improve once we get to there, and I'll still be able to read the comments here on the YouTube app. I do want to start cutting out Halloween decorations as we see it. Like there's some over there. We'll cross over here. Right next to the Cabot house here. There's the Clare Ridge House, this hotel on Dearborn Street. Cars parked so tight I don't want to go through there. There I saw some, yeah, they usually put out some skeletons here. This apartment building here. I remember the old spots from last year. Hey, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Center for Jewish Life here, Chabad House. Here's the yeah, they got the little bad children. There's the parents there with the little bird. There's the Grateful Dead there with the dog and their pet bird there, the Bat family. But yeah, that's why we like walking through the Gold Coast and Lincoln Park and Old Town. They got these nice old Richardsonian Romanesque and castle looking like buildings that are perfect for Halloween decorations, and people really do decorate, go all out even with Halloween lights and stuff. So in the evenings I'll probably start using Streamlabs so we can get nice resolution and get the Halloween decorations as we go through the October here. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. Here we're on Dearborn Street, Gold Coast, Chicago neighborhood. We're gonna walk out of this and go through River North, head down Michigan Avenue towards the border of the Loop of Chicago and Lakeshore East there on Michigan Avenue. Street will be on our left. Walk down there. Have a good day there, Julie. Izzy, Selena. How's everybody doing here? Division Street. We'll have to look into the sun a little bit there. Look at the nice, that cornice there. We'll go by Mother's and we'll be looking at the sun here a while. We'll try to cross the street once we get a little further down. They do have a Halloween display there at Bush McGuire's there in the window. Hey, walking a dog. Beautiful sunshine here, about 60 degrees here. Here's Dearborn Street. We just walk down here. So hey, here's Mother's. Here's Bush McGuire's here. You got the, we get out of the way here. We got the Halloween display right here. There you go. Look at that. There they go. How you doing there, doggy? Oh, I'm all roped off here. Looks so good. The joy of killing. This is a Bush McGuire's. You can. We'll have to go in there and see how they got it decorated here. Hey, they're delivering the beer here. Yinling. Oldest brewery in America here, going to the live. There's Shenanigans. They got the Oktoberfest flags here. Shots of corn. The truck's pulling out. Made their deliveries. Hey, look at all those kegs in the back there. Hey, that's a nice Halloween door there. Shocks of corn. So this is Division and State. We'll go down Rush Street here. Just heading to work here. We go down this way all the time. My routine's pretty predictable here. Hey, look at those chips. Chipotle. Mr. Bones on tour. How you doing? Hey, the Gold Coast. The coast with the most. There you hear the Red Line subway going underneath us there. It's the Red Line subway. Innovative Joint Nerve Center. My nerves are fried. Here, look at the nice view to the skyline here we get from Elm Street and State. There's the hangy uppy right there. Yeah. So here, Abercrombie and Fitch, Doc Martin, they're spraying down the door there. Look at that nice view you get to the John Hancock 900 North Michigan building. This is where State Street and Rush Street breaks off here. Yeah, Donna, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, I'm still walking. This is my commute to work here. I like walking. You get to breathe. Yeah, it takes you a long time to get places, but I don't have to worry about paying for parking. I don't have to worry about my car getting stolen. Here's Cedar. This is where Rush and State Street here. We'll head through Mariano Park. We'll get to Washington Square later this week. Cedar and Rush Street here. That's a nice building. Carmine's. We're still waiting for Carmine's to open. I've been saying it for over a year. I thought it was going to open last year. And there's Velvet Taco waiting across the street here. Hey, riding the bike there's the dogs. Yeah, there's State Street looking south here. Go through Mariano Park here. The Hawk likes it. Hey, bad boy. It's Mariana Park. Whispers Cafe. This girl got the fountain on. I think that's why I'm walking through here so much, because I realize one day I'm going to walk through here and this fountain's going to be off, which is always a sad day because they have to. They keep it going just like the Buckingham Fountain. We maybe should go. We won't do it today because we'll stick by the river, but maybe later this week we'll go by the Buckingham Fountain where they turn it off. I think they wait till around Halloween. Here's the fountain here by Whispers there. Mariana Park across from Carmine's, Bellevue, Thompson Hotel, Tavern, Rush, Gibson's. You got lost at Greedy Green after a Bulls game? Yeah, it could happen. There used to be the Henry Horner homes were, before 1995, the Henry Horner homes were just a few blocks north of the United Center. You could see them from the parking lot, and they were public housing. And then, of course, Cabrini Green across the river, not too far from the United Center. People trying to get to the Kennedy, you could easily get lost. Or trying to get to Lakeshore Drive. We're on Rush Street. You remember when Ogden Avenue used to be a viaduct? It used to go right across Goose Island. It was the fast way to get from the West Loop to Lincoln Park, but they shut that down because, yeah, it was just weird going through Cabrini Green on that viaduct. It just was. You were like removed from the city. That was when that area was more industrial too, by the river, Goose Island, North Branch, Chicago River. But hey, we're at Oak Street and Rush here, walking to work here on a Wednesday. There, Prada, Cartier, Oak Street. This is the Rodeo Drive of Chicago, all the fashion shops here. There's a few on Rush Street. Pass here. We'll head through here. Yeah, I remember people talked about Houston's. I think Houston's is gone. Does anybody know about Houston's restaurant? Yeah, no, like when we talked to Michael there at Bravco Beauty, his mother Barbara, she would talk about the old places that they changed over the years around Oak and Rush, even like the disco clubs and things like that, and the restaurants like what you're talking about. Celine, Brunello Cucinelli, Versace, Dior. Like, for example, where this Lululemon, that used to be Gino's, the original Gino's Pizza joint. It used to be a brick building. Now it's Gino's East, which Gino's East was still there. It's just, that's why Gino's East is in Streeterville. It was east of this location, but it's gone. The La Colombe restaurant moved to Oak Street. La Colombe is a Vietnamese French fusion restaurant. It used to be here on Rush Street, and it moved just like a block away. Moved from like there around the corner to Oak Street. I don't know why it moved. There's a really nice restaurant in the One Magnificent Mile. I don't know if that's called Houston's. I don't think so. Veronica Beard. Here, let's cross here. So this is Rush Street. That was a nice car, though. That was a nice convertible Cadillac there. I think that's what that was. There's Aritzia. Hey, they got the super. So here's another sign. We're heading in the fall. They got the Super Puff coat out. They just added that. They're getting out the fall, winter stuff. Got the wing cats here, the Aritzia. You get this view to the back of the Trump Tower here. Looking down Wabash. That's where the protests were at last night. I'm glad Ernie covered it, but I'm totally being a nihilist. I'm just dropping out. I'm resisting in other ways. Here's, look, $7,500 federal tax credit ending September 30th. So that was part of the big, beautiful bill. They cut out subsidies for the electronic vehicles. So we'll see how that goes. It's affecting all the brands, not just Tesla. But that's what Elon wanted, right? He wanted to cut the government subsidies, the big, bloated, billionaire government waste given to money to billionaires that don't need it. There's the There's Counters Park. We're on Rush Street, Chicago, Illinois here. Did anybody see a side-by-side advertisement commercial? I don't know if they're slipping those in there on YouTube or not. They said they were going to try to slip in advertising while they were watching my live stream, which it's a new feature that YouTube added. I want to see if it's annoying or if it works or if it causes people to not watch. You know, we could turn it off. She felt bad that Elon was going broke. Yeah. Yeah, see, Elon, the richest man's going broke there, yeah. There's the Rivian. See, you can always buy a Rivian, but I know people said they don't want an SUV truck. I'd rather have a Rivian than a Cybertruck. That's my personal opinion, but I don't like the aesthetics of the Cybertruck. There's the John Hancock, 875 North Michigan. Mike Dick's restaurant was down there. And this is Chestnut Street here. There's the Sofitel and the Waldorf Astoria in Chicago. Honorary Mike Dick away there, Chestnut. Yeah, Iron Mike would have been proud of the Bears beat the Las Vegas Raiders there. I keep wanting to say Oakland Raiders. Or even LA Raiders. Here we're by the seminary here. We're on Rush Street here. There's Lamborghini Gold Coast. Yeah, Iron Mike from there. He did try to get into politics. He floated that out there a few times. So we'll see. You like Cybertrucks? Hey, there you go. Hey, you can have them. You know, different strokes for different folks. Now I saw they plugged in a grill to the back of it. You could plug in an electric grill to the back of it. I got reruns where I show them. That was like 2 years ago when they first came out. Hey, the Archbishop Quigley Center, 1917. Yeah. By Loyola here, we'll check out the water tower. We'll head down Michigan. A cute dog there. There's the clear. Round skyscraper. Yeah, we got a lot of round skyscrapers. Corn-top buildings. Melissa, how you doing there? Omaro, happy Wednesday. Yeah, Esteban there. Sorry. They've been around for months, yeah. Paula, how you doing there? Thanks for saying hi. Phil Goodyear, Journey. Travel with Bogdan and Lewis. No, it's not cold. It's to me, this is ideal temperature. We got low 60s, sunshine. It's going to get to the low 70s. The forecast for the weekend is low 80s and sunshine. Pretty good for the first week of October in Chicago. So we're enjoying this extension of summer. It still looks and feels like summer. I mean, you know, you might want to wear a jacket, but she's not wearing a jacket, but she is. She's wearing shorts. So what's cold to us in Chicago is not cold to people in other climates. It has to be like, I have to see my breath before I say it's cold, which is like below 35, you know, Fahrenheit, below 0 Celsius. So it's not cold. Here's the Park Hyatt there. There's the Nomi restaurant. Here's this water fountain they used to use for the horses. Here, I'm gonna get a drink of water here real quick. Yeah, so here's the water tower. Started the 1871 Great Chicago Fire there. The old Chicago Water Tower here. Chicago Avenue and Michigan Avenue. Get that nice view to the John Hancock, 100 stories tall. Built the observation deck there on the 94th. I hope they expand the observation deck to the, hey, do not feed the birds. I hope they expand the observation deck up to the 95th and 96th where they used to have the restaurant. But they don't know what they're going to do with that space. It's probably too large. They want to monetize it in some way. Let's drink from the grass here. We'll head across Chicago Avenue. But yeah, riding a motorized vessel there. Please, the 66 bus is an electric bus. Chicago Avenue, Michigan. Yeah, look at this nice view. We get to the John Hancock and the Ritz-Carlton. Shift, architecture and times of radical change. What is that? The Chicago Architecture Center. So maybe we'll check that out. They're going to have a new display there. Chicago Architecture Center. Maybe this is a rainy day. We'll go in there and fork out the dough. No, I probably should work for the Chamber of Commerce. I work for an architecture engineering firm. So I moved to Chicago in 1999. I've weathered the ups and downs of the economy and the crime and the, you know, a lot of people for good reasons, you know, have given up on the city, moved out, and then they watch my videos and they say they miss Chicago. So there's things they miss about Chicago, but there's other things they don't miss, like the cold weather or the gloomy or the political climate or the crime, you know, and I understand that. And so people are free to move out the country. I stuck it out. I lived in Lincoln Park for 26 years. I'm kind of a creature of habit. I did not grow up in this city. I grew up in Indiana, in the country. But like a lot of people, that lifelong Chicagoans, I might symbolize what has ruined the city. A bunch of people moving into the city that didn't grow up here, that raised the rents and work for architecture and engineering firms. But you know, all cities. Austin, do you think Austin doesn't have that either? They're trying to attract young people to move there, force up the rents in Austin, Miami, Florida, you know, whatever, Nashville, Tennessee. There's a lot of young people moving there, forcing up the rents, and building a lot of housing there in Nashville too. So everything goes in cycles. Cities go in and out of favor. You know, I like the dirtier side of the city. I like the exit punk bar, and you know, the city does have a real edge to it. It's a real city where people are afraid of it. You know, it's like New Orleans. The blood in that city's real. I saw that on the spray painted on the side of the building. You know, like Oakland. It's like living in Oakland, or, you know, that's why people are proud to live on the south or west side of Chicago. It's a badge of honor to grow up in those interesting areas of the city. Not the boring north side where the Cubs play. Here's Michigan Avenue. There's the water tower. So here we're heading to work here on a Wednesday, Michigan Avenue. What time we got here? I don't even know what time it is. There, 7:43. We'll make it. We'll make it down to Lake of Michigan. There's the Harry Potter store, Omni Hotel. All the hospitals. There's the Allerton Hotel, Tip Tap Tap. Streeterville hospitals are this way. See people getting off their shift here. And all the great people that work in the hospitals here. And catching the bus. The blue scrubs. Hey, the mums are out, so the seasonal changes of the medians here. Here's the Converse store. You can customize your shoes right next to Nike Town. Hey, they got the big squirrel back out. So this big squirrel's been out before in front of Nike Town here. I guess they bring it out in fall. There's the big squirrel with the acorns. So, hey, we see the real squirrels in Lincoln Park, and walking through the neighborhoods. There's their giant friend there with the ornamental cabbage and kale looking nice. They got some scaffolding here, working on this storefront next to Nike Town. There's the Levi's here. I can show you the big giant Starbucks. So I guess earlier this week was at somebody hit the traffic light there. That happens. Somebody hit the traffic light in the middle of Michigan Avenue there. Huh. But I guess, it was like National Coffee Day or something, some marketing thing. Like you need to have a day for coffee. People are going to drink it anyway. Here's the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. It's like selling cigarettes. We're in the dying business. I didn't mean to get hooked. It's the good capitalist drug that keeps you working. Caffeine, yeah. Everybody's a star on the Mag Mile there. Yeah, see, welcome to the Mag Mile here. Camelot. Yeah, good morning there. Mary, how you doing there? Balmaro. Julie Smith, good morning. Spent a lot of money. Hey, thanks for that. Grim Evil. Hey, the leg's feeling a little better. It's still a little tight. Grim, I think what I did is I was like, like when I was in North Carolina, my leg was bothering me, but it wasn't bothering me as bad as it was Monday. And I laid on the couch Saturday and Sunday. I missed all this stuff I could have live streamed because I was trying to rest my leg. And it felt really bad on Monday. And Anita sensed I was in pain. And it feels better now. It's still tight. I think I hyperextended it like 2 weeks ago when those pigeons were chasing me. And I slipped on the muck. And it didn't show up until the next week. It must have been like deep tissue damage. And then I somehow irritated it when I was walking around with the boots. Or maybe I really have no idea what I did to it. It's just, maybe it's long-term damage. It's long-term damage from walking too much. How you doing? So here, we'll head across here. This is Ontario here, Michigan Avenue. And head to Bevick's. The stuff is that way. There's the RIU Hotel. One of these streets, Ohio or Ontario, I forget which one. Yeah, I'll blame it on the pigeons. Yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Yeah, the pigeons get a bad rap, I know. Yeah, the twin. 200 feet from the river. Chicago Toxic Donut, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. David Okoa, thanks for tuning in there from, I saw the, thanks for tuning in from LA, Compton there. I saw the Dodgers beat the Cincinnati Reds there. So yeah, there's the wild card baseball's going on. The Cubs beat the Padres. I assume you're pulling for the Dodgers there. But you could be pulling for the Angels. I forgot about that. A lot of teams in Southern California there. But let's head across the street here. So there's vintage skyscrapers. There's La Katrina there. She's looking nice there. She's got a nice display. Yeah, let's check out La Katrina there with their pumpkins there. Yeah, they got a snowman here. Super Puff. Nice fall displays here. This used to be where Flores Mexicanos was, but of course nothing lasts. Oh, the Broncos won. Yeah, that's good. The Broncos, you're talking about football now. Here's the back of La Katrina. Got the nice pumpkins there. There, we'll get the light here. We'll head across here. Yeah, I walk to work and I walk home. I've been doing this for literally decades. But in the age of live streaming, it gives me something to do when I'm walking to work and not talking or after comments here. I do go to different neighborhoods, but not when I'm going to work, you know. It's just, there's the Super Puff here. They got the snowman coat. There's the snowman coat. There's the Super Puff there. That's just a statue, but it's a nice window display here. So it's not cold yet. People are still jogging in shorts. Here's the Uggs. Yeah, Gustave. He's at the Art Institute there. 2003. Orange. Yeah. Half a bean, that's right, when they were just installing the bean there. Yeah, 2003. I think they finally got the bean up in 2004. Yeah, thanks for your memories of Chicago there. I pick. Nita, how you doing there? Yeah, Gurney. So yeah, follow along here if you just, you know, this time of the year, usually in the evenings, especially as it starts to get dark, the sun sets earlier and earlier. We try to check out the Halloween decorations when I walk home from work. And there's some really nice ones. People are like, why do you always show the expensive multi-million-dollar billionaire housing, you know, in Gold Coast and Lincoln Park? And it, like, because they put out, they pay, most of them pay people to do these amazing Halloween displays, just like the hotels. And we get to film them, even with lights and stuff, and then they do it again for Christmas. So most of what I do October, November, and December, besides doing the Chicago Marathon, we'll stream the Chicago Marathon. It works good for YouTube. Is we'll stream the Halloween decorations. We'll do the Halloween parade, and then we cut out the highlight and the clips of the best ones, and you get to vote on which ones you think are the best here. Here's Michael Jordan's Steakhouse here. This is the Intercontinental Hotel here. It actually goes taller. You'll see it on the side here. It used to be the Medina Athletic Association, built by the Shriners, but there's a pool on the 17th floor. It really one of the most amazing historical pools for a hotel in Chicago that you can swim in if you stay there. There it is, inside of the Intercontinental Hotel. There's an onion dome at the top, Michigan Avenue. Said over here's the nice vintage skyscrapers. Did the resolution get any better? I'm almost afraid to ask. Lunchtime we'll definitely do Streamlabs, because if we do a bridge lift, today's Wednesday, there's a chance they might lift the bridges at lunch today, let some sailboats in from the harbor, but maybe not. If no, I'll check the website, see if they give me an indication. But hey, thanks for tuning in. There's the Nathaniel Hale statue. Good morning. Logan Square, thanks Ricky for tuning in there. Kelly, good morning. How you doing there? Yeah. Real estate. Joan Kuzak's address. Yeah, tell Joan I said hi. I don't know her. Nitha. So they're going to put a watch store here. This is the Tribune we just went by. There's the side of the Wrigley building. You can go down to Billy Goats that way. Hey, that breeze feels good. I actually worked up a sweat, so no, it's not cold. I'm still sweating. Hey, look at this nice view. We get to the vintage skyscrapers here. Jewelers Building, Mather Tower, London House, 333 North Michigan. There's the Wrigley Building. Trump Tower's behind it there. Yeah, I'll cut out more of those reruns from yesterday. Democracy forever, fascism never. There you go. Yeah, there was, I think Ernie was covering the protests that were right here. They were right along Wacker Drive there yesterday. I saw them on the news. I was laying on the couch resting my leg. That was my excuse. Otherwise, we would have been walking right through here. Here, I guess they're gonna set up a fall festival. What is this? Fall festival in Pioneer Court, Wednesdays, 10 to 3. So at lunchtime, if there's not a bridge lift going on, we'll come over here. But if there's a bridge lift, I'll stick by the Vasco bridges there. You see the sailboats coming through here. Lunchtime today, we'll be on Streamlabs. It'll be better resolution, trust me. Here's the Wrigley building, Trump Tower. Picture quality medium. Thanks, Alvin. Yeah. So that's, yeah, you notice that it's better. Like yesterday when I was at the Wrigley Field, it was better. That's because I was using Streamlabs. So the trade-off is the comments stopped working. John Baptiste Point de Sable, Joliet Marquette. Indigenous Native American people that guided them to the Mississippi in the 1680s. There's the Wrigley building. We do know some of the names of the people that may have encountered Joliet Marquette. High Noon, that's what the English translation to their name is. They were Potawatomi and Michigama, like Chicago. You can see they're Big Snakes, another one. But that's what the Americans called them. I want to know what their real name was in their indigenous language. Like we called Chief Blackhawk, but his name in the Fog-Sauk language, the indigenous language, was Mukatamasho Kiakayak. So of course the Americans couldn't say that, so they called him Chief Blackhawk instead of Mukatamasho Kiakayak. And I'm sure I'm not saying his name right. I mispronounce everything, wrong. I mispronounce Spanish and German. Of course, I'm going to mispronounce an indigenous language, polysynthetic, very complex structures. Here's our Chicago Architecture Center. We're crossing the Michigan Avenue Bridge there. Here's the building. We'll swing around here, get you this nice view. Looking back here. Oops. Somebody scooped across here. So I got like a second here to show you this, then I'm going to run across the street while we got the light here. But there's that view. Looking to the Wrigley and the Tribute Tower at Michigan Avenue Bridge. There, I want to get across before this light changes. This is where Fort Dearborn used to be, destroyed by the Potawatomi in 1812. And there's the London House. Green Towers, Trump Tower across my... This is where the protest was at last night. There was a protest against ICE being in Chicago and what happened to Ernie. And it's happening to other Americans, not just migrants. They're rounding up people and forcing them to show their papers. Look at the Mather Tower, the Mueller building. There's the Blackhawks sweaters there. Yeah, hockey season's starting pretty soon, Alvin. Yeah. If the NBA is going to start in the NHL, but we still got MLB baseball. We still got some baseball games to play. Yeah, good morning. They say the best way to prepare for New York is go to Chicago. Hey, that's a good saying there, Gurney. I'll have to remember that. Yeah, we're the baby New York. It's less crowded. The streets are cleaner here in Chicago. That's all we get. There, look at the Carbide and Carbon building, that beautiful Art Deco masterpiece. It's real gold at the top. Check out the guy that flies the drone up there. And they restored that. The sons of Daniel Burnham were the architects. And they were at Michigan Water Street here. See where we're at here. Wrigley Building. Look how nice the Wrigley building looks in the morning with the sun. Make sure a bus is not blowing by me here. ICE has been around Joliet. Yeah. Thanks for being our eyes and ears on the street there in Joliet there. Grim knows he rides the bike around Joliet there. Yeah, they're going into buildings and just doing these sweeps. I don't want our military to be politicized, and I don't think the military wants to be politicized either, because they realize they could swing the other way. And America's much bigger than Donald Trump. Hopefully we'll get through this period. It's scary what we're going through, but maybe we need to go through it to learn some civics lessons about not giving too much power to the executive branch. And this is what you get when you enable politicians to lie all the time, and then they believe their own lies, and you're supposed to believe their lies, and if you don't, you're somehow unpatriotic for not believing the lies. And you know that's a lie, and that's the evidence of a cult. You know it's a lie, but you still do it anyway, because you're like, why fight it? I'll just go with the lie. It's easier. America's becoming a lie. Okay, so I'm going to get off here before I go down this rabbit hole of self-loathing. Thanks everybody for tuning in here. Michigan Avenue. We'll be on at lunchtime. We'll try to catch a bridge lift. Thanks my mods. Thanks for dealing with the resolution issues. Resolution should be better at lunchtime. I'm trying different things here. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your comments here. We'll see you later today. Lunchtime. Have a happy Wednesday there. And go Cubs. Go Cubs play the Padres 2 o'clock this afternoon. If they win today, they can advance to the next round there. So go Cubs. And we'll see you later here from Chicago. Appreciate it, everybody. Thanks a lot. Yeah, have a great day there. Go Goodyear. Jason, Grim, Chicago Toxic Donut, Gurney. I pick. We'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot. All right, bye.